talk about the trip to Northern Kentucky and that back-to-back. How did you kind of experience that in your first time with that? And obviously, the adjustments you made. Do you kind of approach it, one game, then a big halftime, then game two?
Yeah, it was different, Dana, to say the least. It was something that we talked about as a coaching staff, how we were going to handle it. We kind of kept to our game plan. We played the game on Saturday and certainly weren't happy with the outcome. I thought the players and the coaches and everybody kind of kept an even keel, didn't overreact, wanted to come into Sunday's game with a few minor adjustments. Northern Kentucky is a very difficult matchup because they play a zone that very few teams in the country play. It looks like a man-to-man. It's a matchup zone, so it's very different than a 2-3 or a 1-2-2 or your traditional zone. So I thought that once the players saw it the first day, we were much more comfortable the second day with it. I think it showed in the second half of game two. As far as our preparation, we watched a little tape that night after our team meal. We talked about some strengths, talked about some improvements. The next morning, we left it optional for our players to go shoot. Some guys decided to shoot, some guys didn't. We had breakfast, and then we did a quick walkthrough in the hotel for about 15, 20 minutes. We addressed a few things offensively and defensively that we wanted to change. And then we went and played another game. I think the biggest thing is having fresh legs, in these back-to-backs. But from a coaching standpoint, you got to really watch the tape and figure out just a few minor tweaks because you don't want to have your guys thinking too much. But it's certainly different. You got to, you have to take care of your body. You got to get treatment. You got to try to get some rest because it is a quick turnaround for game two.
You feel better now, Coach, maybe settling into a routine because this is the way it's going to be for you now, 2 games in a row with 5 days in between?
Yeah, I think as each game, each series kind of goes, I think the players and the coaches will get adjusted. To a back-to-back situation. You have to be able to handle success. You have to be able to, handle failure with such a quick turnaround. You can't get too high. You can't get too low. It's going to be interesting to see how many splits you see, how many sweeps you see. Looking at the data, I think that'll be an interesting study throughout our league.
I know you want to win every game, but if you lose the first game, how do you you guys lost that first game, so how did you approach that? And I guess if you win the first game of another series, how do you kind of approach that? Is it different?
Yeah, I think, Dana, what we just experienced, Northern Kentucky shot the ball as good as they have all year long in game one. They had a couple kids I thought played tremendous. They ended up making 11 threes for the game. They were coming in on average making 6 at 30%. So they shot a very, very high percentage. So we kind of just told our guys, hey, don't overreact. We do have to understand where those two players are. But sometimes you got to give the opponent credit. And I thought, for us offensively, we got some good looks in the first game. They didn't go down. We haven't shot the ball as well as we've liked. I think that has a lot to do with a few things. The amount of gym time that we've put in here recently, I think is going to really help us. But up into that point, we hadn't had many practices. So it's like anything else. If you don't practice something, you're not going to be great at it. So I look for our percentages to go up. I look for our offense to improve. We really wanted to talk about, our defense and to build off of holding a team to 60 points in game two. I thought was a tremendous effort for our guys. And we got some good efforts, from a lot of guys. It wasn't one particular guy. I thought it was our whole team. I thought our bench really gave us a lot of energy. Dana, it's something that's very strange walking into these arenas with no fans. You got to be able to create your own energy on your bench. And I think the guys have done a tremendous job so far with that. There are some rules with the bench. You got to be 6 feet away from one another. those sorts of things. So you still got to have energy, but you got to do it the right way.
Your impressions with Cleveland State and this Demoy Hodge kind of has come out of nowhere, it looks like.
Yeah, he was tremendous. Watching that game was just he was incredible. He just literally took the game over, made every shot, was in attack mode, and it really wasn't just his offense. It led to great defense. The team was energized by that performance. So, Cleveland State is a team that's going to be really, really good. They know their identity. They're going to play very, very hard. They're going to switch their defenses up. They're very, very well coached. You can see a lot of guys playing. They play a lot of guys, so you got to know their personnel. And it's another road game for us. So we've got 8 out of 10 on the road here to start the league, and it's always difficult, whether there's fans or not, to win on the road. So we're going to go up Christmas night. We're going to shoot in their arena Christmas night and actually spend Christmas in Cleveland, and then play the 26th and the 27th.
Coach, how do they change, and are you able to maybe get in the middle more with Milt Eichelberger in there, at least as of now? We don't expect him to play this weekend.
Yeah, I think, Spider Johnson has been incredible for them. Sometimes when guys go out, there's opportunities for others to step up. He's a young man that certainly has done that. He's been tremendous around the basket. He's about 6'8", 6'9", very long. Great shot blocker. He's gotten so much better offensively, gotten better each and every year. So they're a very, very big team. They're long, they're athletic. They do a great job of trying to pressure you, changing their defenses up. So you've got to have good flow. You've got to have good rhythm. You've got to know how you're supposed to attack these guys. So I'm very, very impressed. They're currently sitting at 2-0. They went on the road and won 2 road games in any league in America. That's hard to do. So they're off to a great start, and they're finding their rhythm starting league play.
Coach, it's human nature for fans to look at scores. I mean, Ohio State beat them by 6. Does that open your eyes as well?
Oh, yeah. I told our guys, anytime you can go on the road at Ohio State and take a team from a possession or two away from beating them, you got a good team. They did a tremendous job in that game of just having energy and really guarding them. They held Ohio State to 66 points. So this is a team that has played a very, very good schedule. They played Ohio U, Ohio State, Toledo. They've played real teams and have been in every game but one. So they're going to be a team that's going to be much, much improved from last year. Dennis is in year 2, and they've got a lot of veteran guys back with Torrey Patton, a bunch of guys that have played heavy minutes, and they've done a nice job with bringing guys in that are going to help their team. So it's going to be a challenge.
Coach, you've gotten a lot out of Nas and Akuche here these first couple games, and they're virtual double-doubles right now. Is Michael really settled into that role that you've expected, because it's his second year of being in that position of being your 5 and wanting to be more of a rebounder than he was his first couple of years here? Yeah,
Rab, he's a guy that puts in a lot of time, really cares, works really, really hard. Those types of players always get rewarded. He's a guy that's gotten better each and every year. He's shooting the ball well. He's rebounding the ball well. He's done a pretty good job defensively. He's really a hybrid type player. He's not your traditional 5. He can stretch the defense, but he's got some length where he can guard bigger guys. And Nas has been tremendous. He's really played tremendous basketball this early in the season. After 5 games, you just see his growth as well. So, the front court is playing really, really well. We're going to need some guys, off the bench to really step up. We're going to have to play some more guys. They've had a good, week so far of preparation. So we feel confident about Shake and Will Dunn and Jeff Hamparian give us tremendous minutes down at Northern Kentucky in the first game. So, those kids are playing very, very good, Rob.
Sure. What are you most pleased about? I know games that you've played already? What is there anything that jumps out at you?
Yeah, I would just say, the way our guys have handled all of this has been tremendous. To not be able to go home for Christmas, to not play in front of any fans. As a coach, sometimes, Dana, you worry about your guys and how they're feeling about what they're dealing with. And they've really had a mature approach. Practices have been very enthusiastic. They've been happy to be in the building. From a basketball standpoint, I would just say they responded in a great way after defeat. We could have, responded in a different way. I thought we showed a lot of grit, a lot of fight, and really that's what this program has been. And the kids responded in a great way and accomplished a feat that nobody's ever done. We've never won in that building. Our programs have never won at Northern Kentucky. So to be able to do that after a loss, I think it shows you the character of our team.
Jerrod, there's about 13 or 14 conferences that are playing this back-to-back because of this pandemic. When everything gets back to normal, when and if that does happen, do you perceive maybe this happening in a normal sense because it does cut down on travel, it does cut down on some things?
Yeah, I think it'll be an interesting topic for discussion, Dana. Obviously, everyone around the country has dealt with this pandemic. I think our league had a great approach to do it for this year. Is it something that we see moving forward? If it made sense, I think, Dana, from a financial standpoint, with every university's had to deal with, and really not just the universities, the entire world. If it's something that makes sense from a financial standpoint and it's in the best well-being of the players, I'd certainly be all for it. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how this thing unfolds. You're seeing more and more games being played right now. You're also seeing some cancellations. So I think the league's done a good job with that, matching up teams that are available. And I think as you go, you're just grateful to play after you get those test results and you see your kids out there playing.